gonna try to do my hair a little bit. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm bored. I'm on a period, I'm hurting, can't sleep. We're gonna have a chat about the Teen Wolf movie I just watched, because I ain't got anything else to chat about. Shut up, it's late. Okay, so the movie wasn't that bad. I'm gonna be honest, the movie wasn't that bad. It could have been better. Delivery could have been better. I liked it, cried, I was heartbroken. I didn't like that. That's the only reason why I don't like the movie right now, and I'm wishing I did not see the movie. So could have been a little bit better, despite how, Ardencho was being treated. I think my main complaint was Scott. I can't say I don't like him as a character, but I don't. He just had to have his way. He just had to have his lover back. He can't keep a girl. It didn't start off that bad. Seeing Liam for the first time after so many years, it wasn't all that bad. It was pretty much sweet. I have a problem with him, and I'm not even sure if she's a little girl. I'm not even sure if she's still in high school. She looked like she's still in high school. She looked like she's at least 16, 17. And I know Liam is about to be almost 30, if not 28. I know me a little bit of Japanese. I know what ashitero means. That means I love you. Now, if she's not in high school and she's not a minor, I understand. Full force. Whatever. We don't even have any history with them, which is another complaint. What's the history with them? Pretty happy to see the sheriff again. I love me some Noah. But the only best dad on the show, besides Derek being a dad now. We're gonna get to that in a few. Okay, now that I got this on, we can finally talk about it. It looked like that stupid lion from the Madagascar 2 movie was trying to get Simba. I said Simba, I meant Alex. Oh my god. Anyway, Malia Parrish, raunchy. I love Malia and all, but a couple of scenes, y'all tone it down. We know y'all dogs, but I don't know. I couldn't be Derek, like, meeting up with Malia. I smell you on him, and I didn't want to smell that. After Malia, and then we get up to Eli. That is my baby. I love him so much, and I'm so glad that they kind of introduced him the way they did. But at the same time, it's like I couldn't be his mom. Committed crimes, as if you don't know who the law is in the entire town. You know who the law is. Don't act unfamiliar. What's wrong with you? I have to give him a good talking to, because how many times have you done this already? How many times have you stolen that Jeep over and over and then pretending like you didn't know? Got the sheriff talking about he insists on leaving high school with the Grand Theft Auto charge. I would be mad too, because what are you doing? You're touching my son's stuff. Leave it alone. You did not ask. You don't get to touch. In the way they introduced Derek. This, if y'all don't know, I'm a huge Derek fan. I don't care. Argue with your mammy, not with me. I love him. I will love me some Styles too, but like, Dylan has his reasons. We gonna leave it at that, and that's, understandable. He has his own thing going on or whatever. He had the new movie coming out, so that was probably another reason why it was a no-go. Probably wasn't, but still. Him and Lydia, not together. Lydia had a dream first, and she wasn't sure if if the dream would have become a vision. Her dream of Styles dying, I'm assuming, in the car, and He didn't have a seatbelt on. They have an accident and he goes flying through the windshield. What type of dream are you having when you don't know your man who loves his Jeep very much and is safety first always? That's how the story was going. So I was like, you know what, understandable, but at the same time not understandable. Don't lose contact with him because you're scared. That aside, kind of happy to see Jackson. Love that him and Ethan are still together. That's cute. It's gonna be a main topic between Derek, Eli, Scott, and Allison. Side characters aside, kinda. I'm pretty sure it was awkward for Melissa to see Chris for the first time in however long. Not together or not hooking up anymore because Allison is back. But at the same time, it's like, it's understandable, because why would I hook up with you when your son is still in love with my daughter? No, I understood why he kept his distance, which was understandable and mutual for both of them. But still, like, there's a pairing between Melissa and Peter and Melissa and Chris, and either way it still would have been weird, because at the end of season 6, Scott was with Malia, and Malia is Peter's daughter, and if Peter wanted to get with Melissa so bad he can't, because that still would have been weird. I don't know, I really don't, and it bothers me because it's like, where are y'all going with these stories in the pairings? And there was all obviously some tension between Chris, Melissa, and Peter, so that's like a little love triangle thing. Speaking of love triangles, Isaac will be another topic. Isaac is going to be this next topic. When I saw the picture of, the Teen Wolf cast taking a picture with each other, I saw Daniel, I don't want to say his name wrong, so I'm not going to even pronounce it. He's the actor for Isaac. I thought Isaac was going to be in the movie, and I was actually excited to see him, because as Isaac coming back, Chris is coming back. Chris left them in Paris, apparently, after Allison had died, which still would have been awkward, because if Isaac would have came back, which makes more sense why Isaac is not back. If Isaac would have came back, he'd have to deal with the little triangle between him, Allison, and Scott, who is still not over her, threw Isaac in a wall over her, even though they broke up, which also brings me to the frustration with Allison. It's like, how do you break up with one werewolf and move on to another that's already probably in the same pack together? That's a little messed up. I don't care what anybody says, this is messed up. What's wrong with you? I liked Allison as a character a little bit before she died. I couldn't stand her when she wasn't listening to Scott about, telling her about what's the name. You lied to me, this, that, and another. Girl, your family are killers. They didn't even tell you the real story, the whole story. Your aunt, how about that? Your aunt didn't tell you the full story. She thought she was doing correct. Your daddy said, no, I have another complaint. It's been about 15 years. 15 years from season 6. It doesn't make any sense for Allison to be all grown up since she died 15 years ago. The soul don't grow. The soul don't make the body grow. How'd that work? Because I guess the actors are getting older now, so they have no choice but to make it that way. Logic. Aside from her, we're going back to Derek. Hello. I do love him as a father. I do. And I wish heard from the grapevine that somehow Eli is Kate's son. And it's like, what are y'all doing with these stories? Y'all made Derek the father of a woman who was a predator, first off, because he met her. You saw, if you watched season 4, he met her when he was a minor, and that was proof, because when she changed him back into a teenager, that just showed that they met when she was at least 20 something and he was at least 16, 17. That's nasty. 6 years after that, kinda. At the same time, it doesn't make any sense, because when they got together, she tricked him into telling her what his family was, and that's when she went to go kill them. Even if she did have a baby and it was 6 years after that, Derek would have been 21, 22. Eli would have been born. He would have been 6. I was wrong. I'm so stupid. The math is not mathing. Eli would have been 6 after those 6 years, which means she kept Eli from Derek. Makes sense. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm having this feeling like the only reason why Derek even found out about Eli in the first place was because of Chris. Because after season 4, after Derek had died the first time, Chris was dealing with Kate. This is a theory. Possibly found out who Eli was and gave Eli up to Derek, which is why he was gone for season 5, so he could take care of Eli. It's theory though. This is theory. It's still why. Y'all give this man so much trauma back to back to back for no reason. Heartbreaks back to back to back. His family dying, getting burned into the fire. His uncle coming back from comatose. Killed his sister. Killed his older sister for the alpha power. Almost killed him. Tried to get him in his pack. Died. Came back by using Lydia. Most of his pack died. His only last beta went to France after having a heartbreak. It's too much trauma back to back to back for no reason, and this man's getting beat over and over for no reason, and y'all can't let him have a win. His only win was having his son. Like I said, I love him as a father. I do. I love that look on him, because I feel like that's something that he needed. He needed somebody to take care of after everything he's been through, if it wasn't Peter. Speaking of Peter, with this new hair growing, long hair that he's showing off, Peter was a little bit more with us this time, and I'm actually pretty glad that he's more accepting of Malia being his daughter, which is pretty sweet of him too, because he's a little soft. Derek and Eli, best actor styles, and Noah, best father-son combination. I just wish Eli wasn't as stubborn like his daddy, and Derek knows it. That's the problem. I really thought that he wouldn't transform or shift. She was human before she got turned, but you know, he was technically half werewolf. The real reason kind of hurt me, because all Derek was doing was trying to protect his son. That was it, and he felt like that was his fault as to why Eli wouldn't change. If you know, all they had to do was just talk it out. Eli seemed to be the type to not want to talk it out, which frustrates me, because it's like your dad is trying to have a relationship with you to help you grow as a person, to let you have some type of talent in a way. Like, you're a part of the family. This is what we go through, and I don't want you to be afraid of that. That's why I was getting from Derek, and I was happy about that, because he cares a lot, and it makes sense. And I love that about him, because we didn't know nothing about Derek's dad in any of the seasons of the show. We just knew about his mom a little bit. That was it. They only mentioned his mom a couple of times. Scott and Allison's issues made no sense to me. How did you lose your memory? Come back to life. Remember that you're supposed to be a hunter, that your family are hunters out of all things, and the last thing you knew was that Derek was the alpha, even though technically he wasn't the alpha when she first found out about werewolves the first time. He wasn't the alpha. Peter was alpha. They messed up on, I feel like they messed up on that. It made no sense to me. With her, she can remember Lydia and Jackson, but she couldn't remember Scott and Styles. For the life of me, I don't understand it. It's beyond me. With her regaining her memories and her and Scott falling in love, I figured something was gonna happen. It just, something deep in my heart told me that somebody was gonna die. In the movie, it felt like it was an equivalent exchange. Allison comes back to life, somebody else has to die. It irritates my nerves even more because I'm a huge Derek fan, and the way that they set him off and ended it irritates me, and it hurt my heart. I was crying for a good minute because of that, because I'm realizing the fact that the way that they ended it off made no sense to me. It really didn't make any sense to me. Why did he have to die? And then he died in a fire, like his family. That's messed up. Y'all making him die by a fire just like his family. That is messed up. Y'all need to fix that. I didn't like that ending. I don't care. I didn't like that ending. And there's a lot of people that didn't like the ending. Because why? Because Scott got his true love back? Who cares? Derek didn't even have a girlfriend in the movie. It was supposed to be him and Brayden at the end of the show, because that's where they left off from season 4. And then she came back in season 5. But even still, I hate the this trope where these two lost lovers have to take care of somebody else's kid. Y'all really pulled that one. That's not okay. That's nasty. It hurt even more because I'm a big fan of this specific character. Big fan of this specific character. I'm not that heavy on Scott like I probably should have. I probably should be because he's the main character, but the other characters got flair. Derek is a big favored character, and it's a huge relief to see him out of trouble, per se, only to get into trouble because he didn't have no choice because he was involved with the nigga's name in the first place. The nigga's name being brought back by the teacher, Mr. Harris, the one that used to pick with Scott Styles for no reason, was on everybody's head for no reason. Like, you're mad because your students were involved in something they technically shouldn't have been involved in, which actually wasn't their fault, and you're mad. You're a teacher and you're trying to get revenge on your past students. No, be a grown man. And then you got yourself admitted to the Icon House. Anyway, it was a good movie. It's just the delivery of the movie and the ending of the movie wasn't okay. He turned into a true alpha right before he died. He got his alpha spark right before he died, and it wasn't enough to save him. Because Derek's done some killing. He's done some killing, harming people. Scott's the only one that technically hasn't killed, but he ended up being the true alpha for some reason. He didn't go through as much trauma as Derek did. He was the only one that tried to avoid hurting people. That shouldn't have made him the true alpha because he wasn't making the hard calls. For me, being the true alpha is making the hard calls, and that's exactly what Derek did. He made calls that the other people wouldn't, and then constantly going through what he went through over and over and over. He deserved the title alpha, but he just needed to work on it a little bit. Okay, anyways, it's 3:53 now, so that took not too long. I'm pretty sure the makeup's going to be taking like even longer because that takes about an hour, almost 2 hours to do, because I can't decide what to do with my eyes and what colors and how to do eyelashes because I can't do eyelashes for the life of me. Back to Eli. I couldn't be Eli's mama. Would have loved to because I feel like Derek was struggling because Eli's temper apparently tends to get the better of him, just like his daddy, and Derek knows it, but I feel like he probably would need somebody to talk to anyway, aside from Derek, somebody that wasn't Derek or Peter, because Peter isn't always the best person to talk to. Some of you may or may not know I made a Teen Wolf fanfic. Cringy, I know. I was working on it back in 2020, 2021, having to deal with the pandemic and going back and forth with school. And then by the time summer came around for 2022, I finally published it and kept working on it. I'm definitely attached to Derek, which is also another reason why I'm so upset about his death. And at the same time, I'm so upset with the fact that Scott just had to get his way. I have nothing against Scott other than the fact that he's not a bad alpha. Kinda. I'll give you my reason why. Not about alpha. but he's a terrible friend. I know I've seen how he treated Styles, and that's been eating at me the moment I watched it and the moment I finished it. How you gonna be friends with somebody that you knew all of elementary school and then treat them like dirt up until your senior year too? The moment you got bit and you felt like Allison was focusing on somebody else, you go straight to Lydia, because Lydia has a power problem. She tried to use that against Scott. Made no sense to me, because it's like Scott kissed her too, fill him all up on her. Styles found out, and then you got the nerve to be mad at him because he's mad at you for kissing the girl that you knew he liked since elementary school. What is wrong with you? That was strike number one. Strike number two was, for me, I think strike number two for me was when the whole thing with Donovan. Styles killed somebody for the first time. That was his first time. Oh, technically, at the same time, it wasn't his first time because the whole thing with Nick is today, but at the same time, that wasn't him. But the whole thing with Donovan, he was defending himself, but not to the extent of how Theo described it, which killed me with that, because it's like y'all haven't seen Theo since 4th grade, since he moved. Y'all in junior year now, and he just came back, and all of a sudden you believe him over your own best friend that's been with you since day one, to carry you while you were freshly bitten since day one. I don't know something about, we don't do this, we don't kill, this, that, and other. That could have been a different way. You weren't there. First off, Mr. Alpha, you have a human against, I'm not going to say it because first off, it's late night. We don't speak of anything that's not werewolf in the house right now. It's the witching hour. Human versus, no, he doesn't have super healing. He doesn't, and you lucky he didn't change when Donovan bit him, because that could have happened. And then what were you going to do? What, now you got another thing on your hands, aside from people becoming animus. You believe somebody else that's actually out to get you and your power to take your place over your best friend who suspected him the entire time. What sense does that make? I hated that so much. Third strike. Getting with his ex-girlfriend. What happened to the bro code? Really? What happened to the bro code? We don't go after, I don't care if you thought that she was your mate, because obviously not. And then have the nerve to gaslight him about Donovan. About he tricked us all. No, he didn't. Not about Donovan, about Theo. Gaslighting him about Theo. About he tricked us all. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Styles calling him out. Day one. You're suspicious. You're fishy. Are you here? What's the real reason you're here? And Scott had to sit there and turn him down. You didn't learn your lesson the first few times. Was Styles had to question something and suspected something. Boy is smart. That's exactly why the Nagitsune got to him in the first place. It wasn't that he wasn't strong, even technically as far as strength. He was weakest out of everybody in the pack. He was smart, and the Nagitsune needed that. The best friend is smart. Why are you not taking that into consideration? What sense did that make? Use common sense. It wouldn't even common sense. Use your intuition. I had no type of intuition. He was the optimistic in the wrong time. That was the problem. Can be friends with Scott. I'm sorry. I would be friends with Styles more than I would be with Scott, because seeing how he treated Styles, I wouldn't expect him to treat me any better. Bottom line here, for the movie, they could have done Derek better. He didn't need a send-off. Out of all people, he did not need a send-off. Only for him to turn to true alpha at the last minute. He did not need no send-off. Now, it's more to think about, because Cora doesn't know that he's dead. Cora went to Argentina, way away from Beacon Hill. Isaac doesn't know that Derek's dead. His only alpha doesn't know that he's dead. I'm still torn at the fact that his baby sister, who assumes that he's okay back in Beacon Hill, doesn't know that he's dead. And I don't know who's going to be giving her the news. It's got to be either between Peter, because I'm pretty sure Malia can't do it, because she's not that close with Cora, even though they are cousins. She's not that close. And Styles isn't even in California altogether anymore. He had to get all the way out the state to get away from Beacon Hill. He doesn't even know that Derek's dead. That's the part that kills me, because a lot of people do like seeing Styles and Derek together, and they are funny together, but I wouldn't ship them together, because Styles like Lydia. That was his main focus. That was his main thing. That was his obsession. Who's going to tell him? because I wouldn't want to hear it from Scott. Out of all people, I wouldn't want to hear it from Scott. He died because you had to get your love back. No. I had anybody else. I'd have to hear it from anybody else but Scott. So mad. I would have been so mad at the fact that you got your lost love, your dead girlfriend, dead ex-girlfriend, mind you. They did break up only for him to die. This man had a kid. He has a kid. He can't catch a break. His break, where did that go? Down the grade. Awkward, funny, awkward, funny, awkward, funny, sad, awkward, funny, sad, awkward, funny because of Eli. Eli was the only comedic relief aside from the cussing, because I haven't heard any of them drop an F-bomb ever, aside from Tyler Hoechlin. Which, speaking of him, when I saw the starting credits and I saw his name at the end, that should have been the first sign to tell me that something was going to happen. Something was going to happen to Derek, and I'm mad about that. I'm mad that I didn't take that sign and just run. I'm mad I didn't take that sign and just run. I was gonna get spoiled anyway. So I'm mad about it. I really am. I'm gonna get through it. So the look came out good. A little better than a day and a half ago. I started on the 29th right after work, and it's 31st, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Y'all can't tell because I have lines. Anyways, about the movie, if y'all have seen the movie, let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. If you haven't, you shouldn't have watched it. Spoiler warning, this entire thing was a spoiler warning. It's a review. Other than that, keep your head in the clouds, and I'll see you up there.